Friday?
Next Friday.
This coming Friday?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we can do here about, see how you guys are gonna do on this, see how you guys are gonna do on this test. Now, we've already talked a little bit about ABS, so you shouldn't really have a problem with this. You ought to be able to blow right through it without a bit of a problem at all. And so, which of the following components is used to control anti-lock brake system operation? Think about it, answer the question, and don't whine, okay? Which of the following components is used to control anti-lock brake system operation? Electronic control unit, hydraulic control unit, brake pressure control valve, or the anti-lock main power relay? Now, if you were paying attention at during the previous discussions we had about ABS, you would know these.
I think you mean A, B, C, D instead of 1, 2, 3, 4?
Either way works. You know how to make it happen. You got that answer sheet says A, B, C, D, you know, so. All right, an anti-lock brake system prevents the wheel lockup by controlling the brake pressure during an emergency stop. By not locking the wheels during hard braking, the driver can do what? A, maintain vehicle directional control. B, stop the vehicle in the shortest possible distance. C, maintain traction during the stop. Or D, all of the above answers are correct. We have people that came without pins today, and they have to pass a pin back and forth. Never go to work without a pin.
I'm a team player, sir, I share.
When the brakes are applied hard enough to cause a lockup situation, the ECU sends signals to what? The reservoir, the pump and motor assembly, the hydraulic control unit, or wheel speed sensors. Which ABS component is used to cut off fluid flow from the master cylinder to the brake? Outlet dump valve, inlet isolation valve, pump and motor assembly, or reservoir? Are you a clear thinker?
You said.
What action is accomplished by opening the normally closed outlet/dump valve? Pressure trapped between the master cylinder and inlet isolation valve is relieved. Pressure trapped between the brake and inlet isolation valve is relieved. Pressure trapped between the reservoir and the master cylinder is relieved. Or pressure trapped between the outlet dump valve and pump motor is relieved.
That's confusing.
Yeah, it's
I took the ASC brakes test this time around again
Don't
for
scare
about
me.
the fourth time. Over the past 25 years I took it, oh heck, I guess this is the fifth time because I've re-upped. No, I've re-upped 4 times after I took it once and then I've re-upped 4 times on it. But anyway, this is a cakewalk. Okay, I didn't get this from the ASC test because you're not allowed to, right? But anyway. Which of the following components are used to replenish the brake fluid in the ABS circuits after a dump occurs? Pedal switch, reservoir, pump and motor assembly. Now, I didn't write these questions, they came from somewhere else. So if you disagree with any of these, we'll just have to take it up with the person who wrote it.
I disagree with that one.
I do too.
Huh?
I disagree with that question.
You resemble that remark? Okay. Ready? Which ABS component is responsible for actuating pump and motor assembly operations? What do you think? During traction assist, what action is accomplished by closing the traction assist isolation valve? The hydraulic circuits of the drive wheels are isolated from the non-drive wheels. Hydraulic circuits of brake units are isolated from the master cylinder pressure. The hydraulic circuits between the dump valve and the brakes will be open for fluid pressure. Or D, none of the above answers are correct. Ready to move on? On most vehicles, when the brake fluid reservoir fluid level switch is activated, A, the red brake light is illuminated, B, the yellow brake light is illuminated, C, the ABS system goes offline, or D, all of the above except. Why is a resistor sometimes wired parallel with a light bulb? To continue to provide a voltage signal if the bulb buzzer is illuminated to reduce current flow through the bulb to render the circuit inoperative to trigger the ABS light if the unit is disconnected.
Oh, this test so horribly.
Yeah, he didn't bring a pen either, so he had to use my Sharpie. I got that.
That's my Sharpie.
So, oh, okay.
It's your Sharpie.
It looks like mine from here. My Sharpie looks just like that one.
Just a lot of Sharpies look the same.
This is
My shop
Sharpie.
foreman
They're
accused me of
made
taking a light bulb out of his drop light one time because the bulb I had in my light looked just like his. I ain't kidding. That
This
was
is my Sharpie. They're made
Now wait a minute, we ain't done
This
yet,
one's mine.
colors.
Hold on. I need you to go to number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
What's at number 2?
I don't know. I didn't even get the answer out.
Number 2 is 5. It's false. It's false.
Wow.
Pause for a war story. All right, you guys ready for the war story, right?
I'm ready.
The truck.
Ford Ranger.
Nearly new at the time. This was a 97 model. This is what the rear, this is how the rear anti-lock brakes are wired up on that particular truck. All right, you got your keep alive memory fuse. Got your diagnostic connector. This goes to pin 12. This is your little module right here. This is your sensor. It goes between pins 10 and 3. And there's your RABS fuse, ignition switch. Stop lamps right here. Got that? All right. And you got a resistor here, you got a diode, brake warning light, RAB warning light, 4-wheel drive light if you got it, so on and so forth. All right, so there's your isolate solenoid, there's your dump solenoid. This is a fairly simple little system. Now, it became mandatory to have it on trucks and vans because they didn't want them spinning out on a curve, you know, if you had to hit the brake when you're going around a slippery curve. All right. These lights came on. This guy comes in here with his truck into the right up area and he says, my ABS light is on. Now this is, I got the ticket. Well, I did not get the ticket. I'm sorry, I take that back. A guy named Keith got the ticket. And Keith had seen the reservoir go bad causing this before, because if the brake fluid goes low in the reservoir and it turns on the red brake light, it shuts down the ABS. And it turns on both lights. And you'll get a code 12. I think it is. And so he got that code, and every time we ever seen that code, you just kind of get used to doing them all the same way. He went ahead and cleared the code out and replaced the brake fluid reservoir. We'd replaced so many of them, they had them in stock because they had the switch built into it. And so here's your anti-lock brakes indicator, here's your instrument cluster. And so the guy picked the vehicle up, drove around the front of the dealership, pulled right back in, and says, I'm still having the same problem. All right, so what he did was, well, the way that you get the codes out of this, fuse number 9 supplies power to the RABS keep alive pin, and the shop manual call for unplugging the keep alive wire and grounding it, you know, right here, you see a red wire going together with a black orange wire. You know, you can pull the fuse 9 or fuse, you gotta find the right fuse to pull, but you could just ground the cold side of the fuse. On some of the pickup trucks we got to where we knew which fuse to push and we would just mash the brake and it would start flashing codes. If there's nothing wrong, it'll flash you a code 16. And all the codes from 16, they don't have a whole lot of codes, you know, there's really 2 different codes it flashes out. And this is sort of an overview of the way thing. You see the fluid level switch and all that. All right, now this right here is what you're looking at right there. See the little, you got a black orange wire and you got a red wire plugged together. And if you unplug that one, you know, you can basically just ground the cold side of that fuse. If you unplug that fuse and put your test light in the ground and just touch that, you'll start seeing the codes flash out. Okay? All right, so in a situation where pin 2 is not powered up, no codes will be output. So pin 2 going to the module keeps it from doing anything. Okay? So the reservoir fluid level switch is a little more than a jumper. It provides power to pin 2 on the controller. If that connector is unplugged, the ABS lamp will come on, but the red brake lamp won't because no ground is being provided for the red brake lamp. But with the switch plugged in, the switch grounds the circuit when the fluid level drops to a predetermined level. That provides pin 2 with power, effectively shuts down the controller and illuminates the ABS lamp. Okay, that's what I was talking about. This one here goes low on fluid, it turns on the ABS light, shuts down the ABS. You still got your regular brakes, you know. All right, and this is kind of what it looks like right here. See that you basically got this little connector right here, and inside here, that's the way that switch looks. So basically, if it grounds that, it shuts down pin 2. See, there's pin 2, right there. Okay, so this is basically, and this is going on over there. I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. All right, so see over here, see F and F. This is from this connector, C137. All right, it's going in here to the RABS resistor. There's your RABS diode. There's your brake indicator. You got that? All right. Now then, so this is how I got that hooked together so you can see it. I got rid of that F and put it so it's right there. That's basically the way those schematics look. If you see F leaving this page and coming on to another page, that's how that operates. All right, so let's say like this. Let's figure this out. I would take a piece of wire, and you see that these wires right here? These wires right here, you see a tan one and a green one and a black one. The black one's the ground. The other two are the ones that are basically jumped together where this is plugged in and it's not low on fluid. All right, so if I disconnect this and I jump those two together and everything comes alive, I know I got a fluid level switch problem. Now, I don't know if Keith did this or not. But this was, you know, because it came back and nobody knew what to do, they threw it at me, you know, which they'll be doing that to you one of these days. Okay, so what you do, you unplug this. See how I jumpered that? I just duplicated what would be going on if this was out of the all right, and so that's what that jumper's like. Okay, now the RABS valve got 4 wires leading to it. Now on the Ranger we got out here, it's up there on the fender where it's easier to get to. This one here was down there on the frame. And one of the power wire feeding the control solenoid, the 2 are control solenoid wires used by the RABS module to control pressure of the rear brakes. Okay, the last wire is a proportionate valve style input to the module. What that means is if you've got low pressure in the front or the back, it actually moves a little thing and it turns on the red brake light. All right, there's a internal, the RABS module is a current dropping resistor to alert the module in case the wire connector has been unplugged. So if you unplug these wires, it turns on the ABS light. The module doesn't like that. This sort of failure causes the RABS module to illuminate the red brake light, but it throws the code 4 instead of the 12 code. And I call the guy Sam, you know, whatever. All right, this is kind of what we're looking at, a 22,000 ohm resistor right here. Okay, so there is actually a voltage that's fed out on this wire, right? Okay, there's 22,000 ohms, and I think that brings that 5 volts that's coming out of there down to like 1.9 volts or something like that. And I found out that when I was measuring that, I actually used to keep notes on all this stuff. You didn't see this in the book. I would measure it on a good truck and see what it would be, and then if I measured, I have actually seen replaced parts because I would see not the voltage I was looking for there. It's kind of like it's a fixed voltage. So when it shorts that out, see, you wind up with that 5 volts going to 0. But if you unplug it, same thing. All right, now let's look at it right here. We've got a fluid level switch right here. Here's pin 2. Remember, this guy came back in, and what I'm going to tell you what happened. He said, when I mash the park brake, the yellow light comes on. The red light comes on there. Right after that, the yellow light will come on. Now, he didn't, either the service writer didn't hear him say that, or didn't write it down, or he didn't explain it good enough. I don't know what happened. Of course, when I published this in the magazine, the service writer came out and fussed at me and said, hey, you made this sound like it was my fault. I said, yeah, I did, didn't I? Okay. All right, so basically what you got here, see fuse 11? Here's your brake warning light. Park brake switch does what? It grounds that, turns that light on. And what we had on this one here was this resistor was bad. Because this is actually supposed to keep feeding power to pin 2. But in this particular one, that bad resistor would cause pin 2 to lose its voltage when you engage the park brake. Red brake light would come on, and a second later, the other light would come on, the orange one would come on, because the module would have the idea that you had issues with the fluid level. All right, so this is a shot of the PDC. That looks familiar, doesn't it? Shows a small white resistor. Now there it is. It caused the failure. The diodes are next to the resistor, and the closest diodes are ABS diodes. And these two are diodes, they're not fuses. And a good resistor will have about 10,000 ohms of resistance. That's what they're basically after. See, that's what it looks like right there. All right, now then, have you got somebody else's paper? Swap paper with somebody else. Huh? You got them? All right.
Here, Central B, you grab me a big F on there.
All right. Okay, who put number 1 on that one? It should have been A. Who put it? Anybody put A on there?
I put B, I was close.
Yeah. You put A. Yeah. All right. All right, on this one here, and any lock, will lock up, control the brake pressure during emergency stop. What you got? Maintain vehicle directional control, stop the vehicle in the shortest possible distance, maintain traction during a stop. I'm telling you, if you ever drive one and you hit the brakes and the wheels lock up, if you ain't got ABS, it feels like it picks up speed, man. Scare the daylights out of you on wet pavement. You know, if you're on snow or something. When the brakes are applied hard enough to cause a lockup situation, the ECU sends signals to this. Get that one right? What do you think? Are you not having to mark any of those wrong or what?
Somebody do that?
Yeah, well, he knows it. Which ABS component is used to cut off fluid flow from the master cylinder to the brake? Isolation valve. If you think about the words, you can make that happen. Every now and then I gotta give you guys a vocabulary word. You know what a succedaneum is? If somebody called you a succedaneum, what would that mean? No, it means you're a substitute. That's what a succedaneum is a substitute. You got that? What if they called you a recalcitrant?
Retarded.
That means you're a bonehead that won't follow the rules.
Close enough.
You might call me a raconteur. That means I'm a teller of stories. Okay? All right, so, yeah. All right. What action is accomplished by opening the normally closed outlet dump valve? Pressure trapped between the brake and inlet isolation valve is relieved. Basically, what are you wanting to do? You're basically wanting to release that wheel and let it start rolling again, at least just briefly, right? Which of the following components are used to replenish the brake fluid in the ABS? Now, this is a sort of a strange question. Like I said, I didn't write this question. And I'm going to tell you the truth, I would have probably bombed on this particular one right here. ABS pedal switch, reservoir, pump and motor assembly. I mean, I think this one right here is that's what the answer key had in the test that I used to put this together. And I would say, wait a minute, I don't think it's this, and I don't think it's that. I would put C. Did you put C?
I put C.
Who else put C? Who else put C? Anybody else put C? If you put C, I'm gonna give you that one, okay? If you put C.
Yeah, give me that one.
Or if you put D, because that's what the answer key is, but I don't like that question, I don't like that answer, okay? Which ABS component is responsible for actuating pump and motor assembly operation? What do you think? If you close the fluid level indicator switch, is that gonna kick the pump and motor? Wheel speed sensor input? Closing the outlet dump valve? Which one's responsible? See, this one here, I mean, it's not asking you, you know, which one that is. I mean, opening the ABS brake pedal switch, and what you're doing with your foot is gonna have a lot to do with everything, right? So, like I say, I'm not so sure I like the way these questions are answered, but we're gonna go with them anyway. During traction assist, what action is accomplished by closing the traction assist isolation valve? The hydraulic circuits of the drive field are isolated from non-drive field. If you're gonna deliver some brake pressure to the wheel that's spinning and force torque to go to the other wheel, would it be advantageous to go ahead and put pressure at some of the wheels that aren't being driven too? That is going to cause you to sit there in it and spin and cause all kinds of grief, right? You don't really want that. So, on most vehicles, when the brake fluid reservoir level switch is deactivated, red brake light's illuminated, yellow brake light's illuminated, the ABS system goes offline. Who put a D on that?
I realized after you told that war story, I got it wrong.
Yeah. So that was the reason for doing the war story.
It was.
All right. Why is a resistor sometimes wired in parallel with a bulb to continue to provide a voltage signal if the bulb blows or is illuminated? You're also going to see a resistor that is wired parallel with the charge light, with the battery light on the ones that are set up like that, unless PCMs control the alternator. Because whenever that bulb blows, they don't want you to lose your alternator output. Okay? All right, so don't raise your hand, but how many of you guys got all of them right? He raised his hand.
Well, no,